Have you ever wondered which games define a console generation? The era of the PS3 and Xbox 360 was marked by unforgettable titles that not only set new standards for the industry, but also left an indelible mark on millions of players around the world. Get ready to discover 20 games that were not just pastimes but experiences that shaped the way we play, tell stories, and view the world of gaming. I'm Jax, and if you're new here, welcome to the Play Hunters channel. I bring you daily content so you don't miss any details from the gaming universe. If you could subscribe to help me grow, I'd really appreciate it. Gamer to gamer. Kicking off our list is the epic conclusion to the Spartan Ghost trilogy. In its relentless quest for revenge, this title offered an epic adventure that defined the console generation. Released exclusively for the PS3, it places the player at the center of an action-packed saga where the battles are absolutely spectacular. The brutality of the fights, combined with intricate puzzles, creates an immersive experience that keeps you hooked from start to finish. Every move matters, every hit is crucial, and the story carries a weight that makes you eager to see what's next. The gameplay was where things got truly interesting. You didn't just defeat enemies. You did so in a grand manner, using skills and moves that are visual spectacles. The game demanded strategy, timing, and of course, a good dose of courage. Each battle felt like a cinematic event. The visuals, for its time, were jaw-dropping, showcasing the PS3's power in delivering a true digital masterpiece. If you're looking for a game that truly tests your skills and still delivers an intense narrative, this remains one of the best games to play even today. Next up is Journey, which offered a unique and unforgettable gaming experience that captured the imagination of many players. Set in a vast desert, the game placed the player in the role of a traveler seeking an ancient destination, with a narrative unfolding through exploration and silent interaction with the environment. The simplicity of the story allowed the beauty of the world and the player's personal journey to be the main focus, creating a deep emotional connection without the need for dialogue or complex narratives. The gameplay was marked by exploration and discovery. The player moved smoothly through the desert, facing strong winds and varied terrain while uncovering ruins and secrets. The movement system flowed seamlessly with the environment, and the sense of progression was enhanced by the visual and auditory impact of each new discovery. Visually, Journey impressed with its stunning artistic design and engaging soundtrack. Each scene was carefully crafted to create a sense of grandeur and serenity, and the music helped evoke emotions and deepen the experience. For those looking for a game that offered something truly distinct, this stood out as a masterpiece in its genre, proving that simplicity can be equally powerful and impactful. It's one of the best single-player games that left a lasting impression. In third place, we have the game that gave birth to the Souls-like genre. This title introduced players to an unforgiving and deeply challenging world, offering an experience that became a benchmark for many future games. Set in a dark and devastated realm, it featured an engaging narrative that unfolded through exploration and intense combat. Each area of the game was filled with dangers and mysteries, forcing the player to face a variety of formidable enemies and bosses while striving to restore order in a world in ruins. The gameplay stood out for its difficulty and complexity. Each battle required precision and strategy, making each victory extremely rewarding. The character progression and customization system allowed players to adapt their playstyle and tackle challenges in different ways. The sense of achievement was palpable, especially after overcoming adversities and defeating challenging bosses that demanded both skill and patience to overcome. Visually, the game impressed with its atmospheric and detailed design, creating a constant sense of desolation and danger. Each environment was meticulously crafted to heighten tension and immersion. For those seeking one of the best action RPGs of the time, this game offered a unique and memorable experience, setting a new standard for challenging and rewarding games. In fourth place is Vanquish, which brought a frenetic and stylish approach to third-person shooters, offering an experience defined by its speed and intensity. Set in a dystopian future, the game immersed players in a futuristic war against enemy forces, where fast-paced action and explosive gunfights were the main attractions. The game's design and narrative were crafted to maintain a high tempo, ensuring that every moment was packed with adrenaline and excitement. The gameplay was characterized by rapid and fluid combat, with innovative mechanics that allowed players to move at high speed and perform impressive maneuvers. The cover system and the use of a high-tech suit provided a sense of agility and power, making each battle dynamic and engaging. The gunfights and explosions stood out for their intensity, keeping players constantly at the heart of the action. The game's aesthetics and graphical quality helped create an atmosphere that was both electrifying and immersive. Vanquish offered a unique experience marked by fast-paced action and innovative design. The impact of the game was notable, setting new standards for the genre. In fifth place is one of the best investigation games of all time. L.A. Noire transported players to 1940s Los Angeles, offering a unique blend of police investigation and cinematic narrative. The game placed players in the role of a detective tasked with solving a series of crimes in a city rife with corruption and secrets. The attention to detail was impressive, from the period recreation to the dialogues and interrogations. Everything contributed to creating an atmosphere of tension and mystery. The story unfolded engagingly, leading players from one case to the next, each increasingly intricate. The gameplay stood out for its innovative use of facial capture, requiring players to carefully analyze suspects' expressions to determine if they were lying or telling the truth. The pace was slower than conventional action games, which heightened the tension, as meticulous investigation was key to solving crimes. Additionally, there were moments of chases and shootouts that added a touch of adrenaline to the experience. Each solved case brought a unique sense of satisfaction, as the player's choices directly impacted the story's progression. Visually, the game was a spectacle on its own, accurately recreating the architecture and style of post-war Los Angeles. The cars, clothing, and even the soundtrack helped transport players to that era. For those who enjoyed well-crafted stories and appreciated single-player games with an immersive and distinct experience, this was one of the best games to explore. With each investigation, players felt increasingly immersed in the role of detective, and the desire to uncover the mysteries kept their attention from start to finish. In the next spot on our list is Sleeping Dogs, which plunged players into a vibrant and action-packed open world set in the bustling streets of Hong Kong. The game offered an engaging narrative that combined elements of espionage and the mafia, allowing players to infiltrate a criminal organization and establish themselves as a double agent. The rich story and well-developed characters created an intriguing plot that kept players eager to see what would happen next. The gameplay stood out for its hand-to-hand combat system, which was fast and fluid, inspired by martial arts films. The combat sequences were choreographed with precision, allowing players to execute a variety of impressive moves and combos. Additionally, the game offered a wide range of activities, from high-speed chases to side missions, helping to maintain the rhythm and diversity of the experience. Visually, the game captured the vibrant essence of Hong Kong, with detailed environments and an authentic atmosphere. The recreation of the city and the attention to detail helped create a sense of immersion, while the soundtrack and sound effects contributed to the overall experience. Sleeping Dogs provided a memorable experience, full of action, engaging story, and a fascinating open world. Next, we have Black Ops, which delivered an intense and immersive war experience set during the Cold War. The game offered a complex narrative that explored themes of espionage and conspiracy, placing players in the midst of a global conflict full of intrigue. The story unfolded through a series of varied missions that took players to different scenarios and situations, keeping the plot exciting and unpredictable. The gameplay was highlighted by its fast pace and dynamic combat. The missions were designed to offer a mix of direct action and stealth elements, allowing players to tackle challenges in different ways. The range of weapons and equipment provided a wide variety of options for customizing play style. The action sequences, from ambushes to large battles, kept players constantly engaged. Visually, the game featured detailed graphics and diverse environments, helping to create an authentic and immersive atmosphere. The recreation of settings and the quality of visual effects contributed to the sense of realism and urgency. This Call of Duty provided a memorable experience marked by an engaging narrative, thrilling gameplay, and impressive visual design. In 8th place is a less serious game, but one that provided hours of fun. Dead Rising 2 took players to a zombie apocalypse setting with a unique and action-packed approach. Set in a city overrun by the undead, the game offered a narrative that mixed survival with dark humor. Players took on the role of a character fighting to rescue his daughter and survive the chaos, facing hordes of zombies and exploring an environment full of dangers and opportunities for improvisation. The gameplay featured a varied and creative combat system, allowing players to use a wide range of improvised weapons and tools found in the environment. The weapon crafting mechanic and the ability to combine items to create new weapons added an extra layer of fun and strategy. Additionally, the game had a time cycle that challenged players to manage tasks and survive while completing missions and rescuing other survivors. The graphics helped create a sense of chaos and desolation, while the sound effects and soundtrack contributed to the intense and immersive atmosphere. Now we have a game that didn't achieve much success, but is a true hidden gem in the world of gaming. The Saboteur took players to occupied Paris during World War II, offering a unique perspective on the conflict. The game stood out for its engaging narrative, which followed a former race car driver who became a saboteur in an effort to liberate the city from Nazi oppression. The story combined elements of action and espionage, creating a plot full of intrigue and twists that kept players engaged from start to finish. The gameplay offered a mix of combat, stealth, and exploration in an open world. The combat system was dynamic and varied, allowing players to use a range of weapons and techniques to confront enemies. The stealth mechanics also allowed for covert approaches, providing various options for completing missions. The open and expansive environment of Paris offered freedom to explore and uncover new challenges and side stories. Visually, the game impressed with its detailed recreation of Paris and its stylized artistic design. The city was represented with an authentic atmosphere of war and resistance, and the shift to a black and white environment during the more intense missions added a cinematic touch. The game offered a rich and engaging experience, with a blend of intriguing narrative and varied gameplay. Continuing on, we have one of my favorite stories, the Ezio trilogy of Assassin's Creed, which offered an epic journey through 3 games following the life of an iconic protagonist. Set in different periods of the Italian Renaissance, the trilogy took players to explore vibrant and detailed cities while delving into a plot full of intrigue and adventure. The story followed Ezio's growth from a young nobleman to a master assassin, providing a rich and deep narrative that engaged players at every step of his journey. The gameplay was marked by a refined parkour and combat system, allowing players to move fluidly through urban environments and confront enemies with a variety of techniques and weapons. The game featured varied missions that combined stealth, combat, and exploration, providing a diverse and engaging experience. Visually, the trilogy impressed with its detailed recreations of historical cities and its richly detailed setting. The representation of the Italian Renaissance was carefully crafted, creating a world that felt vibrant and authentic. This trilogy offered an unforgettable experience, combining an engaging narrative with immersive gameplay and impressive visual design. In 11th place, we have a game that was quite successful but eventually faded into obscurity. Bayonetta presented players with a unique action experience, marked by its charismatic protagonist and innovative combat style. Set in a world full of supernatural creatures and epic battles, the game followed a witch with extraordinary abilities as she fought to recover her memory and unravel the mysteries of her past. The story unfolded with a mix of mythology and action, offering an engaging narrative full of twists and turns. The gameplay stood out for its fast and fluid action, featuring a combat system that allowed players to execute a variety of combos and spectacular moves. The game incorporated mechanics such as the use of weapons and special abilities, which could be combined to create impressive and visually stunning attacks. The sense of empowerment while facing gigantic enemies and bosses was one of the main attractions, providing an exciting and dynamic combat experience. Visually, the game impressed with its stylized design and cinematic action scenes. The environments were vibrant and detailed, and the game's artistic style helped create a unique and immersive atmosphere. The soundtrack and sound effects contributed to the sense of intensity and drama, making the experience even more engaging. And I couldn't leave out The Last of Us, which took players to a world devastated by an epidemic, offering a deep and emotionally engaging narrative. Set in a post-apocalyptic America, the game followed the journey of a man and a young girl as they faced a society in ruins and terrifying monsters. The story explored themes of survival, sacrifice, and human connection, creating a plot that captivated and moved players from start to finish. The gameplay was notable for its focus on survival and tense combat. The game combined stealth action elements with direct combat, where every decision had a significant impact. Resource management and the need to adapt to constant threats added an extra layer of realism and challenge. The mechanics of interacting with the environment and the rich narrative provided an immersive and captivating experience. Visually, The Last of Us impressed with its detailed settings and realistic portrayal of a post-apocalyptic world. The environmental design helped create an atmosphere of desolation and hope, while the soundtrack and sound effects complemented the emotional experience. For those looking for one of the best narrative and survival games, it was an unforgettable experience of the time, with a combination of engaging story and impactful gameplay. In 13th place, we have another trilogy that marked a generation. Uncharted offered players an exciting journey through archaeological adventures and exotic exploration. Set in exotic locations around the world, the trilogy followed the adventures of a treasure hunter in search of legendary artifacts. Each game brought a narrative full of mystery and action, immersing players in captivating stories that combined exploration, combat, and puzzles. The gameplay stood out for its fluidity and dynamism, with a combat system that mixed intense shootouts and hand-to-hand combat. The platforming and exploration sequences were designed to challenge and delight, offering a diverse and engaging experience. The well-crafted narrative and spectacular action moments kept players constantly engaged and eager to uncover the next challenge. Visually, the trilogy impressed with its varied and detailed environments, capturing the essence of exotic and historical locations. Uncharted offered a rich experience marked by an exciting narrative and engaging gameplay. The BioShock trilogy also deserves recognition. This saga provided players with deep immersion into underwater and dystopian worlds, with stories exploring complex and philosophical themes. Set in underwater cities and distorted societies, the trilogy led players to explore rich and detailed environments while unraveling plots filled with mystery and questions about power and morality. The gameplay was notable for its unique combination of combat and interactive narrative. The combat system offered a variety of weapons and powers, allowing players to adapt their approach to situations. Additionally, the exploration mechanics and interaction with the environment helped build an engaging experience, while player choices influenced the evolution of the story. The mix of survival and action elements created an intense and captivating experience. Visually, the trilogy impressed with its detailed settings and creative depiction of underwater and dystopian worlds. The artistic design and graphics contributed to the unique and immersive atmosphere of the games, while the soundtrack and sound effects intensified the immersion. Another trilogy that defined its era and deserved mention is Mass Effect, which took players on an epic journey through the cosmos, providing a space RPG experience with an engaging narrative and impactful choices. Set in a future where humanity explores the galaxy, the trilogy followed a team's struggle against an imminent galactic threat. The story was distinguished by its complex plot and well-developed characters, creating a rich and thrilling narrative that captivated players from start to finish. The gameplay was characterized by a combination of tactical combat and dialogue choices, allowing players to shape the story and character development. The combat system offered a blend of strategy and action, with a variety of skills and equipment that could be adjusted to fit different playstyles. Exploring planets and interacting with various races and factions added depth to the experience, providing an immersive and engaging narrative. Visually, the trilogy impressed with its detailed design of alien worlds and space environments. The graphics and setting contributed to creating an authentic and expansive atmosphere, while the soundtrack and sound effects enhanced the immersion in the galactic experience. For those looking for one of the best RPG and sci-fi games, the series provided an unforgettable experience with a combination of rich narrative and engaging gameplay. In my opinion, one of the best games ever created is Skyrim, which offered players a deep immersion in a vast and detailed fantasy world, allowing for a truly epic RPG experience. Set in a vast and immersive world, the game took players on a journey through a land rich in history, cultures, and adventures. The narrative revolved around the struggle to thwart an ancient threat while exploring dungeons, cities, and stunning landscapes. The gameplay was notable for its freedom and depth. The combat system, skills, and character customization allowed players to shape their experience according to their preferences, whether battling dragons in intense fights or exploring the expansive open world. Quests and side missions provided a wide range of activities, from monster hunting to solving ancient mysteries, keeping players constantly engaged and immersed. Visually, the game impressed with its expansive scenery and attention to detail in each environment. The soundtrack and sound effects contributed to creating an immersive and epic atmosphere, transporting players to a vibrant fantasy world. The experience offered a combination of engaging narrative and rich gameplay, making every gaming session a new adventure. In 18th place, we have a combo of two games, Batman, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, which paved the way for other superhero games to shine today. These games immersed players in the dark and complex world of the Dark Knight, offering an action-packed adventure. Set in iconic locations within Gotham City, they allowed players to become the masked hero, confronting well-known villains and unraveling intricate plots. The narrative involved a series of dramatic and challenging events, with the battle against crime and the protection of the city always at stake. The gameplay was noted for its fluid combat system and stealth mechanics, which allowed players to master both fighting and stealth techniques. Interaction with the environment and the use of gadgets helped create a varied experience, blending intense battles with exploration and puzzle solving. Side missions and challenges provided a wide range of activities, keeping players constantly engaged and attentive to the plot details. Visually, the games impressed with their detailed settings and atmospheric recreation of Gotham City. The artistic design and graphics contributed to an authentic and dark atmosphere, while the soundtrack and sound effects intensified the immersion. For those seeking one of the best action and adventure games based on comics, the series offered a captivating narrative and engaging gameplay, making every moment in the game a true superhero experience. Next up is Fallout 3, which provided a unique immersion into a post-apocalyptic world, featuring a rich narrative and a vast environment to explore. Set in a war-ravaged Washington, D.C., the game took players to a desolate and dangerous land where survival was the primary goal. The story revolved around the search for a lost family member while uncovering the mysteries of a ruined world and its conflicting factions. The gameplay was distinguished by its freedom and depth, allowing players to customize their character and choose how to interact with the environment. The combat system combined real-time action with strategic elements, while side missions and activities offered a broad range of experiences. Exploring an open world and making moral decisions directly influenced the story, providing an engaging and varied experience. Visually, the game impressed with its detailed depiction of a post-apocalyptic world and the atmospheric design of its devastated environments. Now, we have one of my favorite trilogies, which unfortunately got overshadowed by later games. But the first three were true masterpieces. The Gears of War trilogy provided an intense and immersive experience with its epic narrative and brutal gameplay. Set on a planet devastated by an underground creature invasion, the series followed a group of soldiers fighting for survival and the recovery of their world. The story delved into themes of war, sacrifice, and survival, offering players a plot full of exciting and challenging moments. The gameplay was noted for its tactical combat system and innovative use of cover mechanics. The game featured intense and dynamic battles, where players had to use combat strategies and teamwork to face hordes of enemies. The weapon mechanics and level design were crafted to provide an immersive and challenging combat experience, keeping players constantly engaged. Visually, the trilogy impressed with its detailed settings and the dark representation of a ruined world. The artistic design and graphics contributed to an authentic and immersive atmosphere, while the soundtrack and sound effects heightened the sense of urgency and tension. For those seeking one of the best action and shooter games, the series offered a combination of engaging narrative and frantic gameplay, making every fight a memorable experience. I also want to give an honorable mention to GTA 5, which should definitely be on this list. However, due to the success of its online mode, which keeps the game alive today, I only remembered it was released on PS3 and I had already finished the script. This just shows how incredible this generation of games was, and I'm sure you know of a game that was missing from today's video but deserved to be on the list. So, leave a comment about any game I missed. Also, let me know about your best experience and the game that marked you the most from this generation. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the Play Hunters channel and activate notifications so you don't miss any updates about the gaming world. We're always looking to bring more amazing content to you. A big hug and see you tomorrow.